Hi, I'm Asher. This is kind of a simple tool that I've vibe coded here to allow ES to have easier times trying to like read code they might necessarily be able to write regarding like EV or robot tour or other events that often have event supervisors who don't really know like what the code they're looking at is doing, and so it can't necessarily do a great job of analyzing it quickly to determine if it follows rules. The way this tries to solve that problem is by just passing in the like kind of project file for a team's code that they impound. The way they would do that in real life is just like they take the impounded USB thumb drive and like put that file into this web page. It gives a kind of breakdown of how what it understands the code to do, which this seems correct. It asks questions and it ranks these questions as either likely worth checking or worth a brief check. This means you should probably ask this question. This means you don't necessarily have to. It contains constants, blah, blah, blah. That's, just search question for team to return these values. We say, let's relate to track dimensions. Okay, so if I was a net supervisor, I could ask them a question. Okay, this is a question you could ask, I suppose, but I suppose there's a reason it didn't think this was a very important one. It didn't seem too important. That was kind of the like clean example, that I didn't expect to be breaking any rules. This is the like violating team example I'm about to do now. Oh, also, in terms of the rules that I'm using here, there's 3 defaults: Robot Tour, EV, and you can also do, I suppose it's not default, but you can also choose custom and upload your own .next file. The important thing about this to note, these rules are not like totally based off the official. They do include the changes regarding libraries that I suggested in Discord. So you can just change that text file if you want to implement that in this season. Just catch Robot Tour called Robot Tour Planner. See, like this gives the summary of what the code does, and it's a pretty good summary if you look at the sample code later in the I know. Receives event parameters. Notices that it uses event parameters for navigation, which would be disallowed in the thing. When this would like really be implemented, you should probably have something that maps these rules to like actual rules in the competition instead of just kind of the like definitions given by the text file. It also shows a relevant code snippet if it thinks there is one. If I was a supervisor, I'd just ask this question, and I think it would quickly come out that this would be breaking rules. Same thing here. You can see this kind of snippet. Compute optimal route. I think if an event supervisor asked this question about what compute optimal route does and how to step function control robot's movement, they would also quickly kind of find the issue there. This thing here is also another one. It is like one of the rules that I added was like you can't hand library track descriptors and then use the library's navigation logic. Yeah, and this kind of clearly breaks that. If you were to ask this question, again, I think it would kind of quickly come out the issue. Now I'm going to but like use my code that I actually did run for states this year. Oops. 6. You don't get to see the actual code though, because it's secret. But if you look at this, 181 files selected. This has all sorts of like GitHub branches and stuff in it, so it's a huge file. It's probably like the biggest type of file it's ever going to receive in real usage, and it can still deal with it without any issue in like 12 to 15 seconds. Yes, that is an accurate breakdown of my code. If I was a supervisor to ask this question, keep in mind my code may not be perfectly legal with these new library rules. I think it would be, but I'm not 100% sure. So it contains complete MP650, but full JavaScript library with normal decompiles competitors. Yeah, that's that might be a little bit bad, but I did have the MPU library gets exposed during running, which is not good. Pushing profile logic and path planning logic. Yeah, as an event supervisor, just ask about these questions here, and like I could answer these to a level that would make it clear to the event supervisor that it's valid. It's not a cheating thing. Also, all of the uses have this disclaimer at the bottom. You know, it can't check many things. It's not checking that you actually built the robot, like the physical robot. You don't, or that you understand your code, or that you understand like the design choices that went into your robot's body. Also does not check to make sure they're running the same code you're checking against. So you have to make sure they still pull from that USB that you just checked the code off of. And also it's not checking to see if they're able to explain their code really. So like you still have to be kind of like alert and aware, listening. Does that make sense? You know? Yeah. Okay. For implementation guidelines and any questions, it's on the GitHub. Yeah.